Detective Bruce Kenner. It is October the 14th, 1990. It is important that you tell us everything.
They'll kill me.
Nobody's gonna hurt you anymore.
Clear your mind. Behind the pendulum.
Tell us what you see.
I heard a knock at the door. There was some old lady. She had this weird smile on her face. She took me downstairs. They were wearing robes. It was a black mass. Now they'll kill you too.
I just get the feeling with this case it's a part of something bigger.
Alejandro Amenabar. Where's this guy been? As you may or may not recall, he made a big splash in Hollywood way back in 2001 with The Others, which was a beautiful and highly stylized horror film starring Nicole Kidman. And that film not only did exceptionally well at the box office, but it also got a lot of attention because it was part of a great year for Kidman. It was the same year, 2001 again, when Moulin Rouge hit theaters, and she was also getting divorced from Tom Cruise. So you saw Nicole Kidman transition from being Mrs. Cruise, who people largely thought got roles because of her relationship with Cruise, who at the time was very powerful and respected in Hollywood, to someone who had her own very beloved on-screen persona and identity as an actress herself, thanks to these two really well-received films. Now, Moulin Rouge is a better film than The Others, and I think The Others is actually probably remembered more fondly than it deserves to be. It really does rely on that stylization. And hey, I'll admit, I'm a sucker for an elegant horror film like The Shining or The Orphanage from another Spanish director, J.A. Bayona, which is actually far superior to The Others. But again, the stylization was quite good. I think where it really fell apart, as I recall, was the end. It had a good twist, but then it was really could not explain the twist. It was just like, because I said so. You ask for too much. It's a beautiful movie with a twist. Let it go. And so I think a lot of people did, myself to some degree included. But the reason I bring up The Others here so much and focusing on it so much is because I think that Alejandro Amenabar, even though it's over a decade later, is trying to recreate that success here. And I think especially with the casting of Emma Watson, I think particularly with the way she's stylized here, with her costume and hair and makeup, she is very much like Nicole Kidman in The Others. So I think she's a good choice for Alejandro Amenabar to repeat that success. And I also think Emma Watson wouldn't mind having that kind of success herself. Why not give it a go? I mean, she has the Disney's Beauty and the Beast coming up, but I think all of these decisions are fueled by a need for her and her management team to get a box office hit for her. I mean, of course, she had the Harry Potter films, but since then, while she's made some very interesting choices creatively, she just hasn't connected with audiences on a large enough scale, I think, to keep her as one of the top names in Hollywood. I mean, she'll probably always work forever, but the question is to what degree and on what scale. And we'll use that as the perfect way to segue into Ethan Hawke, who has done quite a good job keeping his career alive in the fringes of Hollywood. Now, he's been also transitioning back into the mainstream a little better these days, thanks to horror films like this one. Sinister worked out very well for him. Daybreakers was a hidden gem. And he's done a lot of films like this, so I can see him wanting to continue to make this kind of horror film. But I have to say, I'm glad he did Boyhood. The Oscar nomination is huge for him for Best Supporting Actor. He's not going to win, and I loved him in that movie. I thought he was the best thing in Boyhood because he took what looked like a deadbeat dad on the surface and revealed he was just a dad trying as hard as he could under really difficult circumstances. But you know what? While that was a breath of fresh air, this just seems like more of the same for me from Ethan Hawke. And I gotta say, I'm getting a little tired of it. I mean, his hidden gem to just crap ratio, I think, is not in his favor. So I'm getting tired of saying to myself, well, I bet this one's one of the hidden gems. I think I've just been disappointed a little bit too much. And not to say Ethan Hawke makes bad movies. I don't think any of his movies are actually bad, but they're not something that I think is worth seeing in theaters. So I'm excited about Alejandro Amenabar. I'm excited about Emma Watson, But Ethan Hawke's dragging this down a little bit for me. Also, they're like, at the end line, he's like, I think this might be bigger than it seems. I'm like, you think so? There's a giant room of people down there in weird costumes, and if you've ever read a comic book or seen a movie, you know that they're usually pretty important people probably in the community, and that's why they're hiding their faces, because they don't want anyone to see. So we'll see. But there's obviously intense interest in this because of Emma Watson, but there's been a lot of intense interest in her projects to date, but it has yet to translate to box office. Do you think that'll change with this movie? Write your thoughts down below. Thank you everybody who asked me to review this. I really appreciate it. And you can check out some more episodes right now.